All right. Welcome, guys, to the Stop the Hustle and Start Scaling workshop. My name is Shelly Ontis, if we haven't met yet, and I'm excited to dive into this with you guys. So let me hit my share screen button. All right. Can you nod your head if you can see my slide? Yes. Does it show up? Okay. A lot of people don't have their camera on, so I have to kind of look to see. Again, if we haven't met, my name is Shelly Ontis, and I am I don't know, the everything kind of behind. We can make that. I was going to say owner, but as you know, as a small business, it is so much more than that. So I'm excited today. We're going to stop the hustle. And this is so many of these things held me back personally. And I'm seeing with the people who are in my creative business club and just entrepreneur network that there is a lot of just different people going through the same things depending on where they're at in their business, that it is all all the same. Okay, let me just move that out of the way. Got too many windows open here. So let's dive in. So first of all, I want to hear, like, use the chat. Let's talk to each other as we're going through this. Tell me yes in the chat if any of this sounds like you. Have you ever ended your day feeling like you were busy all day long and then you got nothing done? Right? I feel like that's kind of the poster child for entrepreneurship some days. Now, if you're feeling like you're overwhelmed too much, a lot of times, again, tell me if this sounds like you, is your to-do list too long to get done every day? And then you don't know what to start with, you don't know what to do first, you're almost feeling unorganized and not sure what to do to move the needle. So I went with the whole sewing theme there. That's been my fun pastime if you've been following me on my socials lately. But it started for me when I was a graphic designer for about 28 years, and I did social media marketing and I did graphic design for other clients as well. And I was trying to run the blog. So I was making digital files for crafters and doing fun things like that, and crafting and tutorials and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden I realized I felt like I'd lost control of everything, what I was doing for other people, what I was doing for myself. And then one day I ended up posting the same meme twice because I thought it was really funny. And I was like, I got to get that meme out because it was one that was dated. It was a Groundhog's Day one. So I'm like, you have to post it on Groundhog's Day. It's not funny if you post it the day after. And I was like, okay, I need to go do this. So I jumped over to my computer and I posted this for myself. And I was trying to do other things that day that had to get done on my to-do list. And I ended up posting it twice because I had scheduled it and I forgot that I scheduled it. So if you guys can relate, do you feel like we are posting to post, or maybe we're working all day, but we're getting nothing done? And I tell you, I think I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one from talking to you guys, but this is what we're going to talk about today. And hopefully we're going to bypass some of that messy part, that unorganized part. And through the last, let me see, I think I started the blog in 2016, 2017. And over these last few years, I have come up with a system that I want to share with you guys today so that you guys don't have to be caught in this messy middle or feeling like you're unorganized or something like that. Okay, so which one of these probably speaks to you guys? Is it number one, the mindset? Um, we're just too busy all day long, but we're just not getting that the profit that we want or the sales that we want or that kind of thing. Or the other one is number two is we need a roadmap because we're busy all day again, but we're not getting anything done. And then the third thing that we're going to talk about is systems. And what I mean by that, if you're thinking I'm not techie, don't check out on me because these don't have to be these aren't techie. I believe that everybody on here today can do these just as well as I can. So we're going to find some systems that are going to work to help you find real customers and not just find those what do I want to call that? Like sometimes we end up chasing views and that kind of thing. And then we're busy all day, but we get nothing done. So we're going to come up with something that's going to fix that. My window keeps jumping around. It's driving me crazy here. Okay. So how do we know this system works? So the things I'm going to show you guys today, here is some of the proof. Now, these aren't just made up ideas or made up threads or AI bots, if you guys have done or seen anything with AI, but here is some of the actual stats from, not just myself, but other people who have gone through it, like increasing, and this is in, some of them are in a couple weeks, some of them you can see the 6 times your website traffic is in about 4 months. And to add 2,600 email subscribers, raise your hand if you guys would like 2,600 new email subscribers. Because I know there's probably one or two of you out there that would be okay with that, right? Okay, so let's jump in. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the mindset that I had mentioned earlier with those 3 things that we're going to go through today. So you don't need to know it all, and you don't need to have a business degree in order to do an online business right now. So who has said to themselves, I need I need a business degree, or I'm not a marketing expert, so I can't do this because I don't have the marketing background or something like that. And then the other one is I hate that word just. I just paint stuff. I just make stuff. I'm not a business owner. If you've ever said that to yourself, then I just want to assure you, spoiler alert, it's not that you need to know all those other busy things. You just need a plan that supports your dream. And it is so much more accessible than it was 10 years ago, 15, 28, 30 years ago when I started. And that remind yourself that millions and millions are doing this online each and every day, and they probably have less creative talent, less business sense, less common sense than you yourself do. So just know that it is doable. You don't need to have a business degree. You don't need to be a marketing expert, and that you can find the clear path to figure this out for your brand. Okay, let me pull up my chat because I just realized that. Okay, I will semi-watch it. So if there's something that goes wrong, Rebecca can drop it in the chat and then I can see because I just realized I shut like everything off so we can focus. Okay, so what do we need to do to squish that mindset shift about, I'm not enough really is what it comes down to. And that would be that we need clarity to create that consistency online. And that clear path is going to make a smoother progress. We get busy, we get caught up in the post that says you don't have enough email subscribers. Have you guys seen that? And then whatever you went on social media to go do, you're now down another rabbit hole and you're trying to figure out how do I do this or how do I do that, or maybe I need to sign up for this course and that course. And then you end up just so busy all day long and not really getting the things done on your to-do list that were the things that were going to move your business. And they pull us in that direction that maybe we do need to go in, but we also have to make sure that we do those things that are the money movers, I like to call them. So those are the things, the money makers. They're the things that you're going to do to move your business ahead and not the other way around. So if you have a clear plan that aligns with, say, your business goal or your money goal, or, sometimes our goal is we just need to build up our email list, or we need to build up our social media account, or we need to open the Etsy store. And sometimes those other things that we see online pull us away from that, and it keeps us from scaling faster. Now, another example would be we don't see Kohl's going out and noticing that Walmart now sells tires. And now, on top of their home decor and their shirts, which is where I got my cute little striped shirt today at Kohl's, they think, well, now we need to add tires. No, they stay in their lane and they focus on what they need to focus on. And that's how they make sure that they move the needle. So we want to make sure that we're doing the same thing. We are definitely a business owner like others, like these other big corporations we see. All right, so now let's move on to our shift number 2 we're going to talk about with mindset, and that's more work equals more results. Who else thinks this way, that if I do more, that means I'll scale faster? But really what that means is it, it just means more burnout, really, at the end of the day. You can't out hustle a system. So more hustle doesn't always mean bigger results. Sometimes it just means that we have twice as much to do to get to the same result. Or yeah, Rebecca Lewis said, work smarter, not harder. And sometimes that's hard to remember because of all the noise that goes on when we go out onto the online world. So tell me if this sounds familiar. You can answer me in the chat too, because I will go through and read your answers here in a little bit. Okay, I'm busy all day, but I get nothing done. I work too hard to be this broke. That was kind of the one that turned it around for me about 4 years ago. And, trying to run the graphic design studio and trying to run the online, at that time I called it a blog, but it is so much more than that now. But I was like, I work too hard to be this broke. I kept saying that over and over again. And my husband was like, oh, I don't know what to say to you about that. But when you follow a system, you grow you grow without posting more. So again, like those 2,600 subscribers, if you are strategic about what you're posting when you are working, if you have 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours a day, if you have 10 minutes a day, if you make sure that you are focused on what you need to be focused on, that's where you're going to be strategic in posting and then creating content. And that's where it equals that profit or those goals that we have coming that we're searching for, right? So this shift number three, that almost didn't come out right, is systems that scale, hustle doesn't. So you can only hustle so long. And if you have ever thought, if I hustled so much and I sold $1,000 worth of stuff in my Etsy shop, then if I just double my hustle, what's that going to get me, right? I don't know, I guess sometimes math would be 2000, right? You could double it if you doubled the hustle, but sometimes that means you're just doubly tired, but you're just producing still that $1,000 worth of profit or content or whatever at the end of the day. So hustle until you don't have to is kind of what the mantra I had as I was going through trying to figure out this system. I'm going to show you here in a second. If you build the dream and then you let the hustle scale it or you let the system scale it, sorry, because you can't out hustle and you can't just do more. And sometimes I don't know, that mindset ends up just making us so burnt out that we just, it feels like a dumpster fire and we just drive it like we stole it, and then pretty soon we just walk away. And that's not good either. Yeah, like Kelly said, double the exhaustion. It's a thing. It's a real thing. Okay, so the real results is really what we're looking for. And sometimes, again, we get caught up in those likes and those views, but no matter how many times I ask my mortgage company, they won't take views to pay my mortgage bill. So we need to work smarter, not harder, right? And what happens when you start guessing and then you have that plan, that's where you get 6 times the website traffic, 19% more sales over on your Etsy store or on your website or whatever. But we need a little path to go through. Do you guys like my little pink bug on here? Someday I hope to have like a little bright blue bug that I can drive my grandchildren around. So that's on my goal. It was not in my slides, but I just felt the need to share that with you guys today. So it's the real results that are going to pay off, and they're not just busy work. So who needs less time from working with bigger results? And I think that is one of the things that we get lost. um, but that's where we get. I have to not read the comments to see because I get sidetracked. But I just want to have a conversation with you guys. So why the hustle isn't enough? All it does is produce chaos. It makes those to-do lists longer and then not enough time. So when we went back to that first slide where we said you don't need to have a business degree, we do need to have a plan that helps us with where we're going and what we're doing for business. But we need to make sure that we're not just hustling to hustle because I don't know, have you guys ever heard of the busy badge where if you're just busy all the time and you're working all the time, do you have that one friend and that's all they ever talk about is how busy they are and how hard they're working and how many hours they worked and how unorganized they are at the end of the day? They're probably not doing what they want to do to make sure that all of this comes back in tenfold. And that's where the systems come into place. We're going to, again, work smarter, not harder. All right, so now I want to talk to you guys about the roadmap. So this is the second thing that we were going to go through today is what does that roadmap the roadmap to growth look like for you? And who wishes that they had like a business manual that came with? Do you remember those those books, whatever for dummies? It started out, it was like Word for Dummies. How about Business for Dummies? That's kind of what this system does. And I have to say, I was going through some of the things that I have put out, some resources I have, and I'm like, you know what? I started to look for something and I'm like, this is messy. This needs a system. And that's where it all fell into place on how it needs to go. And I've called it the Simplify, and apparently I can't spell. I'm sorry. A Simplify and Scale Marketing Systems. And it combines all three of these things I'm going to show you guys in a second. So let's quickly break them down. Okay, so the first one I talked about is phase one. Now, this is where you probably already have your store open, and we'll touch on that here in a little bit. But so if you have your store open, the first thing we're going to talk about is clarity. And this is where you're going to uncover your focus and stop guessing about what matters. So this is where you probably know I'm going to start selling some things, or I'm going to talk about, this on my Facebook page, where you've got some ideas and you're starting to put things out, but it almost feels like when I do it, they're one and done. And then after I talk about how I make, let's just say clay earrings, give me some examples in the chat of what you guys make or sell or create. But let's go with clay earrings. And I'm going to put how I assemble them, or I'm going to put how I package them. But then at the end of the day, we maybe don't even know your your customers, they don't even know where to go get them. I know there's this lady I follow all the time. She makes the most adorable clay earrings, and I can never find them. I can never find them. And I would probably buy all of them, unfortunately. So maybe it's a good thing I can't find them. But this is not what we want to be spending. And I'm thinking she spends how much time making reels, how much time making the earrings, and maybe she's selling out, doesn't need Shelly to buy them. But we want to make sure that we have clarity in what we're doing and how we're sharing it, and then how that can transition to sales at the end of the day. And then the phase two I want to talk to you about is the foundation. And this is where you're going to create the systems. So this is your marketing plan, and they're all structured to support your business. So if you are continuously just throwing this out on your Facebook page and maybe throwing that into your emails and here or there and this and that, and then at the end of the day, you don't even really know what you did or where they're going through the systems to find you. Or maybe you're posting all those cute little things about those clay earrings and nobody's buying them because they don't know where to go to buy them. And I don't know how many times was talking to somebody and like in a chat, and then I went over to like their Facebook page or their Instagram or something like that, and I could not find their business to go check it out, stalk them or help them, however you want to put it, to get to that next level with them because I couldn't find anything on them. And we think that people can find it. We think that people know, and it just doesn't translate that well. All right, so then the next phase that I want to talk to you about is the growth phase. And this is where you have those strong foundation things in your business, and then we're going to work on scaling them. So you're seeing what wins, you're seeing where you can be consistent, and you're seeing how it's holding up for you. And then I'm going to show you how to look at the stats and then go to the next level with them. So going through those, do you guys think you're in phase one, two, or three? Or maybe phase zero before these, or maybe beyond. But if you have an idea, I'd love for you guys to drop that in the chat. And I like somebody I just saw had 0 to 1, and that's perfectly okay. Like I love, you don't have to put yourself in the box. And there's a lot of times where you get from like one phase to the other, and something in the world, something in your business, something in your mindset switches you back where you have a couple things that you have to go back and redo in the phase before that. And that's just how business goes. It's not just set it and forget it anymore like it used to be. But in short, going through all those phases, you can see it here. We have the setup phase, and we have the clarity phase, the foundation, growth, and then kind of that next level CEO. So really those first two you're planning. And then phase two is where you're creating a lot of the things that your business is going to be. And then phase three and four is more of that thrive, where you're scaling and stuff like that. Now, this is where so many of us get confused, and I was too, because we don't know what we don't know. So we don't even know like what phase we're in, and we don't know what the next phase looks like. And imagine going on a road trip, and your husband says, "We're going to go on a trip." Well, okay, where we're going. And he's like, "We'll figure it out along the way." Well, I need to know, do I need to pack my hair dryer? Do I need to pack shorts? Do I need to pack 13 sweaters? Where are we going when we get there? Because then I have outfits that go with certain places that we're going, or maybe I have certain things I want to bring with depending on where we're going. So you really need to know where you're at and you need to know where you're going in life, in business, in all of it, right? So if we don't know what you don't know, then you don't even know what that next phase looks like. And sometimes we don't even know what the phase that we're in looks like. So we just get back on that hamster wheel and we post to post. Maybe, has anybody ever done this? Prayed for a viral reel so that we can call that our business plan? Like we need a better system. And if I know there's some of you, if not quite a few of you, if not all of you, sitting in this spot right now going, that's exactly where I'm at. I'm on this map, but I don't know where I'm going because one day I'm in phase one, and another day I'm in phase four, and then three-fourths of the day I'm in phase zero. And that's where I created the Simplify and Scale marketing system. So this will set you up to so that you know where you're at and where you're going. And the tools for this system I created are easily obtainable. They're easily manageable no matter what your business level is at. And I'm not going to sell you $1 billion course for this either. It's going to be very, very easy for you to obtain. So the two things that I needed to scale beyond six figures when I was going through the process was number one, training, and number two, community. And they were a huge game changer for whatever phase I was in at whatever level. And let me dive into the two parts. There's kind of three parts, but they all mesh together. But the first thing I want to talk to you about is the Creative Business Club. So this is a community. It's a phase-based roadmap with quick wins along the way so that you can build momentum. And it's not just come in and here's a course and we're throwing all the training at you. It is being restructured right now. We'll be done with it here in October, but you can jump in now and you can start. There's plenty of content in there, but this is where you're going to jump in. The first thing we're going to have you do is do a phase finder quiz. So you're going to take this quiz, it's going to take you a few minutes, and it's going to tell you where you're at in this process. So when we had talked about these different phases, the phase finder will say, you are probably, it looks like you're in phase one or you're between these two or something like that. And then you can go to those in your dashboard in the portal, and it'll tell you what sessions to watch for whatever phase you're in. Like it couldn't be any easier. And then with the business GPS that's in there, so this is like a little shortened version here over on the right side of my screen, but there is there's a whole module on the business GPS, and it'll tell you the clear path so you can see where you're at and what you're working to and kind of everything in between. And then also with that, with the community, we have 3 monthly Zoom calls that we do. So very similar to what we're doing right here today with you guys, but this is where we're on there, we're having conversations. So it is a smaller community so that you can get your questions answered. You can find other people doing something similar to you, or maybe somebody even in your area. That's happened once. And then it can give you that support system and accountability just from having that community around. And I think the supportive community around me was more beneficial than any other tool or resource that I believe I had along the way in this journey, not just in the last, whoops, there went my earring, not just in the last few years with the blog, but even with my graphic design studio, is having people around you that understand what you're going through, what you're doing, you know, kind of what you're working on is so beneficial. And I think it's that support to help encourage you when you're down also, but there is a lot more to it than just that. And then the second thing I want to talk to you guys about today is the planner itself. So this is not just a planner. If I said the planner word and kind of lost a few of you, I know there's people who love planners, there's people who don't love planners, but this is not, I should probably start calling it a marketing course more than a planner, but it is really a marketing kit. So it is a course and it is a planner. And the planner is not um, just a calendar. It has prompts and checklists built in so that you don't have to figure out what you're working on every day, who you're talking to, or any of that. So I have one right here. I'll show you a little bit more detail about it in a second. But the idea behind this is, oops, let me move my slides over here. They work together almost like magic. So the course gives you the marketing plan and the know-how about the day-to-day marketing. It's great if you're really new and if you're really ready to dive in. There's some deeper level trainings in there that go with it as well, and it'll help you implement it every day so you can stay on track. And that way you're not just learning, you're seeing results and you're seeing how it works. And then the club can help you with the roadblocks and the setbacks and the things like that. The planner itself was developed how many years ago now? Six, maybe seven. I'm not good at math, especially with the lights on me, but it was quite a while ago. So I developed the planner because again, I posted twice and I needed to stay on track and I'm creative. So I have to write it down. I have to see it in front of me. I've got to have that 30-foot view where I can see the whole thing. And then with the course, it walks through every single section. So if you're not sure about posting, if you're not sure about email marketing, if you're not sure how to look at your stats, there's things like this in the planner that will help you. And I'll dive into that here in a little bit, but it'll help you actually apply what you're learning and it'll keep you focused on your marketing that pays and not just chasing views. So it'll help you on that day-to-day process. And a lot of times some of these resources, when you come in and you go do a training, it can be $60, $70 just for that training. But the club is $37 a month, and then the planner is $57. So it really doesn't take long to start seeing the payback from what you're going to put into this. So I just want to also mention too, if you're thinking, I don't know where to start, I don't know how, I'm telling you that decision fatigue is the thing that can really just keep you staying in that hustle mode longer. And that's not going to get the results. Like I was just saying, I think I said this before I hit record, but I was talking about flipping through my calendar or my planner, realizing that November is just this far away. We don't have much long before the end of the year. Um, so if you are interested, we would love to have you join the Creative Business Club. Just imagine where you could be in 30 days. If you could go in there and you could say, this is where I'm at, and this is what I need to do. And that goes back to where, let me see, where was that other slide? Right here. Like some of these things, increasing your sales by 19%, what would that do for your holiday season? Or if you had 2,600 more email followers by the end of the year, how would that close out your year compared to other years? So I'm going to put in the chat. Actually, Rebecca, I think she can drop it in the chat. So if you go to the wecanmakethat.me/group, this will get you access to the group. And then if you are interested in the planner itself, you can find that over right here. And if you are interested in both, if you go through the planner checkout, that will let you pick if you want that that will let I had that posting in the wrong thread. So that will let you check out both the planner and the Creative Business Club at the same time. But let me see if there's any questions. Let me pull up the sheet here. Lori said, when you do all the things, how do you decide a niche? So I would say if you go through the phase finder, see where it's at. Next month in the club, we are going to go through what I want to call our profit maker. And that's where we're going to narrow down to that one thing that you're doing. So a lot of times as a creative business owner, You are, let's say you're an artist and you are painting, like canvases and you're selling those, or maybe you're scanning them in and selling prints, or maybe you're putting them on clothing. Like it can really start to snowball of all the different things that you can do. So it is a little bit harder to answer just in the workshop here today, Lori, but really it comes down to look at that one thing that is scalable that you can continue to do and make money, but then not have to touch every single point of it. So sometimes if you're making earrings, you can only make so many earrings. Maybe you need to look at expanding or have people come help you or that kind of thing. Um, do you have a couple of niches, Lori, that you are kind of tossing between? And maybe that would help narrow down the question there too. Um, let me see. What if I'm still figuring out what to sell? Okay, that was also kind of goes into the profit maker. And the portal will help you dive into that a little bit more. There's a couple of other trainings that will pop up. If you come up with phase one or phase zero, it'll probably walk you through a couple of the lessons in there. What if you're a creative person and not a marketing person? The planner in the course and then the creative business club, they were made by a creative for creatives. So I understand how that feels when your mind is going in so many different places and you can do so many things, but you don't have to know everything about marketing. You just need to know how to market your business. And that's really what the planner structure will walk you through. Um, will this work if I'm just doing it part-time? Yes, you can get out. I like to say you get out of it what you put into it. So if you want to replace your full-time income, but you can only put in 3 hours a month, it's really hard to build that online empire, online business. But if you can really dive in and learn the things that you need to learn, and that way you're not just out there, I don't know, just running around, running around posting to post. But if you're doing it more strategically, that can really help you with that. Um, yes. Okay, so can I cancel at any time? If you're a creative business member, you can cancel it at any time. There are no refunds for the time that you've been in the club, but if you get in there and you say, okay, this isn't for me, or I don't have time, or your life changes and you're no longer working on your creative business, you can cancel your membership to the Creative Business Club because it is monthly. There is also a um, yearly plan, and that'll save you 2 months. So you get 2 months free if you sign up as a yearly member. Um, Somebody else asked, can I start now or does it have to be January 1st? That is a very good question. So let me pop over to this so you can see it. So this is this year's planner. And this one is the undated one. So it's got the tabs. You can write on them with a Sharpie. They are reinforced. They've got like the laminating on there so they don't tear off. But this one is undated so that you can start whenever, or if your brain needs an undated planner, then it is exactly the same. It just doesn't have the dates in it. So this one is the other one. And this one, I think we only have 2.5 boxes left. And this one is dated for 2026. And you can see the tabs have the dates on them. And then when you pull it up, the calendars, whoops, that's the mid-year review. So that one doesn't have any dates. But of course, hard to turn a page when you're live, right? You're trying to go quickly. But obviously then these ones are dated and they walk you through, but they really look exactly the same except for the dates. So that is the only thing. And then the monthly views or the weekly views look like this. And then you also have a full Saturday, Sunday, and then the marketing panel, which will help you with your marketing day by day. Okay, so then let me see, there was another question. So the planner, is it only shipped? So there is a digital version, and that one comes in an EPUB. So if you use like a digital writer, you can use it in there. And then if you have, um, let's say if you're out of the US, because we only ship to the US, and that one is a lot of times people in another country will get the digital planner and then they'll take it to like a mom and pop or a quick print. Like here in the US, some people have taken it to like a Staples or something like that. When I first did the planner, it was only digital, and then I took it to like a mom and pop shop and then printed it. And then, depending on how big it is, you can have them put these spirals on, or there's another like comb one that can go on there. And they're pretty reasonable to print that way, especially compared to shipping these days. Um, Let me see. Do you guys have any other questions? Does the Creative Business Club offer live support? So, or coaching? It is pretty much like a course with a coaching plan attached to it. So we do 3 different lives a month. You get a co-working session, and that one so with the co-working session, it is the first Thursday of the month. You can jump on and we work together. We hold each other accountable, that kind of thing. And um, we kind of you run through your to-do list so much faster on these co-working sessions than I don't know. They blow my mind how much I get done. So I think they're a lot of fun. And then we also do a marketing workshop every month. Sometimes it's a business workshop, other times it is strictly just marketing. And I go through and I show you how to work on something, how to do something, but it's not just what do I say this? Like you go through and it's like word vomiting all this stuff onto you and you're like there's 74 different ways now that I know how to do this and I don't know where to start, because we also give you a worksheet to go through it, and it's usually a checklist, brainstorming so you can figure out which way you want to take it, and then um, yeah, kind of a checklist, keep you accountable. If it's something we should keep doing for marketing, then it's something that you can continue to use that checklist out throughout the year. But a lot of these things that we're going through are things that you need to know how to do. You need to know how to do them now. And when you get them set up, then they are a little bit easier to maintain if you don't even have to come back to them. The other thing is the the third live is the marketing meetup, and that's the question with question and answer. So there's a form you can submit a question to, and we will dive directly into whatever it is that has you stuck. Because I think that's one of the big things that keeps us stuck with um, just business moving forward is that there's this little thing like I don't know which email program to choose, or I here's here's where I'm continuously doing this over and over again for customer service, and I don't know how to make it go faster. And either myself or the community, we have such great, I don't know, great collaborations that we can come up with an idea to help you go through that. Um, so those are the things in the Creative Business Club. And again, you get replays on everything. They're organized into your dashboard. We are just finishing that up, but there's a lot of fun, I don't know, fun trainings, but then also just fun community. If there's things that you're struggling with, you can also post in the Facebook community at any time. Um, what is the price of the digital format? So the planner is really a course. It's really a course with a planner. So the digital or the printed are the same. And there are 57, and it comes with the course. The course is about a $300 value. So really you're buying a course very discounted, and then you get a free planner if you want to look at it that way. Let's see. Jeanette says, as a beginner, will the club be advanced for me? So I think it maybe would inspire you. There are quite a few people in there in phase 0 and phase 1. So there's definitely resources in there for you. But the nice thing is it'll grow with you. So a lot of times you get into something and you're like, okay, well now I've made all these connections and I found this community, but now the content has, I've outgrown the content. And that happened to me personally. And that's why I wanted to build something where you could figure out, where am I at? Where do I fit in? And then find other people in there with you. And then also see the people that are ahead of you so that you know where you're going, or you'll have inspiration, because sometimes it can be very draining down this road. Entrepreneurship, right? Um, so yeah, when you get in, you'll take the phase finder quiz, and then It'll tell you where to start so you can start going through those lessons. But then come to the workshops, even if the monthly workshops, the marketing meetup, which is the question and answer, or the co-working sessions, and you can get to know the other people in the group too, and then make some connections. Who is the group for? If you are trying to attract or find customers or sell things online, you will find the resources that you need to do that. So there are Etsy shop owners, makers, artists, bloggers, content creators, crafters, craft business owners. If you're doing, wow, words escape me, craft booths, craft fairs, those kind of things, there is a good number of people that are in there too. Um, oh, there you go. And then Jeanette's question came up right as I answered it. So if if you're in that messy middle, there's a lot of content in there, and it seems like there's more content in there for that. But that's because that middle part where you're building all those foundations, where we had the roadmap where it was the clarity, the foundations, and then the grow. And and there's just a lot of things to do in that, but then there's a lot of those where you set them up and you put them in there, and then when they're done, they're done. So, the first time you set up, you decide, I'm going to do email. I'm going to use an email program like MailerLite or Flowdesk or something. And once you go and set that up, then that part's set up. So it does sometimes look like the content in the course has a lot for that middle ground, but that's just because there's a lot of things that we do to set up that. So there is content in there for craft fairs and craft booths too. So yeah, there is both. Let's see. Okay. Are there any other questions? I could talk about this all day long, but let's not, right? Because we have things to do. We're working smarter, not harder. All right. I'll give it just a minute to see if there's any other questions, but I hope that Kelly says she finds the club very helpful. We love having you in there, Kelly. Terry says you have so much great information. Thank you. I'm glad that you're finding it helpful. I love sharing it. If there was somewhere like this that I could have jumped in years ago, I think it really would have helped scale things faster. Is the course paid for monthly or the club or both? So the course with the planner, that one is just a one-time or a yearly fee, I guess. If you do it once, you want to keep you want to keep going, right? So the planner and the course, they come together. They are a yearly, you would want to buy those yearly. And then the club is monthly. So the club is $37 a month, and that includes access to all of the trainings and three separate lives that you get with me and the community in there. So if you have questions, um, a lot of times if you find a training or something online and they're teaching how to set up your email, or if they're teaching you how to do keyword research or something like that for your Etsy store, you're going to be paying $47 to $97 per one of those, but you get access to everything in there for just the $37 a month. And then you can watch the replays as much as you want on them. So if you come in there and you're thinking, okay, I need to look at that, and then if you come back later, it's still in there so you can watch the replay. So let me put the screen up on there so you can see here's the different phases that you have coming through there. And then also, if you are interested, again, if you go to the wecanmakethat.me/group, you can sign up for the group. If you would like to jump in with both and just finish the year super strong, go to wecanmakethat.me/planner and then grab the planner with the group, and it'll really help you push forward through the end of the year. All right. Let me pull up the chat. Are there any more questions? Let's see if I missed anything. All right. Let's see. One more. Terry says, I'm going to do my course. Such a scatterbrain. I didn't realize. That's funny. Yes, that is a great place. And a lot of people love to have both because when you go through the planner and you're going through the course that comes with the planner, there's sometimes so many things in there that you have questions on and you need to almost come back to or ask somebody a question on. And that's when you can jump on those 3 different lives every month and connect with us and ask questions. And then there's just tons of people in the group that are willing to help guide you or give their ideas. So I go through and I talk about in the course and then also in the membership itself, the Creative Business Club, and I talk about these are ways that, marketing works for me, but I don't do a lot of in-person events now. So then there's other people in the group that can share some of those too. Karen says she has a planner for 25 and 26 and get ready for a great new year. Awesome. Um, Deb says, what about the money side of your business? Does it teach you that? There are a couple of um, trainings. Like I don't do bookkeeping because you don't want Shelly teach you how to use your numbers. But I do talk a lot about how making sure you track them in this way. And then also, how do you go back and look at them to know what you should be working on today or what you should be working on tomorrow? So there is, like I said, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a CPA, but there are money things in there. And then there is a handful of things that we are putting into the dashboard or the portal for members. And there is a couple of them that are going to have to be re-recorded. So there'll be new content coming in there too, in addition to your monthly workshops. Lori says, I love the co-working sessions and I get so much done. I almost need them daily to stay motivated. I know, right? I know the first time I was telling them I jumped on and we decided to start doing co-working sessions. I'm like, okay, well, what will I do? Because like as a host coming in, like how am I going to manage it? And I'm going to want to, work on whatever, but I just play along with you guys and co-work with you. And I'm amazed at how much I get done that I don't get work done like that otherwise. So yes, and we do record. Kelly says she replays the co-working sessions. So we do record the co-working sessions also, and we do drop them in the Facebook group just to save on how much stuff is in the portal itself. But yeah, you can rewatch those in the Facebook group and then you can pull them up. And if you have to walk away to answer the door, grab a snack, then you can pause them and come back. So they work really good to put on replay like that. So yeah. All right. Well, that was awesome. I can't wait to see you guys over in the Creative Business Club. Like I said, you can jump in now and we can start next week. We have our workshop, so you guys can attend that. We're going to be talking about wholesale, and then the week after that, the month after that, our topic of the month is going to be the profit maker. So what makes you money? How do you dive in deeper? Because if you could just figure out what that one thing that is sells and sell 10% or 50% more of it, or like 19% more, um, every single month with working smarter and not harder without having to hustle harder for it. Imagine what that can do for your family and your life around you. Plus, it's fun. Um, Jeanette says, so the club has both daily and 3 workshops per month. No, there is not daily, but Lori said she would like the co-working sessions daily because they make her that much more productive. So Susie says, I'm thinking about this for the new year. I don't feel like I'm in the right place for it now. Yes, I mean, that's the beauty of it is that you can join whenever you feel like you're compelled to join. If there's questions that you guys have and you didn't want to put them in the chat about maybe if you're wondering if it's the right fit for you, if it's the right, time or place or system for you, you can sure reach out to me on any of the socials. I'm usually on Instagram over We Can Make That quite a bit, but um, totally up to you. Yes. And like I said, the nice thing is if you get in there and you realize it's not for you, you can just cancel before your membership renews. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you being here. It was fun chatting with you guys. I'm going to go and scroll through the comments and see what else is going on, but I'm going to stop the recording. And yes, have a great day. You too, Terry.